So why don't we take, like that's a good example. Remember I said formulation is constrained by assessment. So I know nothing more than the fact that mental balances we need. So we need to get like a typical example to base it on. So why don't we take this example where you're doing the life skills practice thing, yeah?
Yeah.
So the environment was, practicing, what were you practicing?
Well, it was like
An interview.
core skills. It was
Yeah.
like the first thing in core skills that we did, I thought.
Practicing.
Client solutions.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was.
I don't know. I
Some
think.
role playing.
Oh, why did you want to do psychology? We were just practicing that, like an interview with that's
Solid.
the topic.
Ah, okay, sounds good. So what were you thinking about during that time?
I was like, oh my god, this is the first time I'm doing this with like this year. And I don't know, why I wanted to do psychology.
Why I wanted to. Is that right? It's like I kind of had how do you do this psychology?
Do a U and then just put a line through it.
A U. Oh, that's
Yeah,
much
it's
better.
a U
than
and then a
W.
line
That's
through
better,
it.
right?
Yeah,
There we
that's
go.
it.
I was trying
Like
to
a
do a
trident.
W. That's much better. Yeah, cool. Okay. But what you're saying is you were feeling some stuff physically. What was happening here?
Like with my body.
Just how would you describe what was happening and how you were feeling? Like even if you just use the labels.
I was like a little bit nervous.
Bit nervous.
My hands always get sweaty.
So we had some sweaty palm type action.
Um,
Man, oh man, if I could go back to like 14-year-old me and give him one tip, it'd be like, dude, just fucking relax about your palms. Nobody cares.
I know, my hands are sweaty right now.
So stressful. Amy Harrison, year 8. Sweaty palm, what about heart? Was it beating a little bit at all? Like
yeah.
butterflies in the tummy?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, so the heart rate was up a bit, maybe the butterflies. I don't know how to draw a butterfly like this, maybe. It's got some little things on it. It's more like an elephant.
Fast.
Gotta give out Anyway, so some butterflies in the tummy, that kind of stuff. And of course, your knee was bouncing.
Yeah, my knee was bouncing.
And like this bouncy knee, right?
Yeah.
And then what were you doing while this was occurring?
I was just, I don't know, just having a conversation. I was just talking.
Just doing the role play.
Yeah.
Were you trying to control any of this stuff? Like were you unconsciously aware this was occurring? You're like, I've got to keep the butterflies in.
Oh, well, I was like, I think I was sitting on my hands.
Yeah, hands sitting, trying to keep them from falling off or something.
And then I think I was just like internally telling myself, oh, it's fine. It's just like a role play, like trying to calm my own nerves down.
Alright, so maybe there's also, we might put like, put it alongside it perhaps, maybe like a do. I mean, it's tricky, this is a tough one. Internal rumination also is debated as to whether it's a behavior or a cognition, because it's not something you're doing, but it is a voluntary thought process. Like a colleague of mine, Steve, and I will have long conversations about this back and forth. We might sort of put like two things here and then maybe another thought in here as well. A bit of self-talk, like it's okay, you know, just focus on it, right? And then how did it kind of go? Like what was the outcome? When did it kind of finish? It was fine.
Yeah, we just did what we meant to do, I guess.
So you just kept going until the end of the role play?
Yeah, and then until we like swapped and stuff.
And who told you to swap? Was it Quincy or who is this?
Oh, I think we just,
Michelle.
Yeah, Michelle.
Michelle.
But like we just decided ourselves and we were like done.
Makes it swapsies. Right, cool. So that's kind of like the draw up, the description of stuff. Now we look at it and go, okay, can we make sense of why this is occurring? What do we know about the body's response to stress? Sorry? The flight or fight. So what do we know about the flight or fight response? Good. I thought it was just sympathetic.
Oh.
I don't know. Whichever one it is. The body does its thing, right? What does it do?
Heart rate. Escalates in all the ways.
Yeah, escalates. Gets everything ready to either flee from something or confront it and kill it and wear its children like a hat, right? So it pumps your body, your heart rate increases, it produces epinephrine, your cortisol goes on, your pupils dilate, there's all this kind of stuff happening, right? Has anyone ever taken a large, don't answer this on camera, a large amount of a stimulant before? Like caffeine, methamphetamines, maybe not methamphetamines, Wesley's like, of course. I smoke meth every day.
It's caffeine.
Caffeine. If anyone's ever had, like, I don't drink coffee. Do people here drink coffee? You ever drink a little bit too much coffee one day? You might notice you get a bit twitchy. Yeah. You might notice that your muscles start to do things uncontrollably because your caffeine is having pretty much the same effect as the flight-fight response. It's triggering everything up. So part of the flight-fight response is that increase in everything. Your muscles just start to move a bit more. You're actually getting ready to run. This thing you do when you're bouncing is your body getting ready to run away. So I think, I could be spitballing, but I think this is pretty straightforward. I think what's happening, Myrtle, is that your brain is interpreting this as a threat, equivalent to like a lion or a tiger or a bear. And these kind of thoughts aren't helping. It's like, God, it's the first time, people are watching, okay, just keep it together, keep it together. So we're doing our best, but the normal kind of nervous symptoms are coming out. And one of those is just this knee bouncing thing. Yeah? That's just part of that flight-fight response that you have that other people don't have. And I imagine that it stopped right about as soon as this thing stopped. Or even perhaps after about 10 to 15 minutes as you ease into it. And maybe if we stopped with self-talk and we just got you more engaged in this, it would go away even quicker. But that's a pretty straightforward problem level formulation. There's nothing particularly special about it. We could explain that one just by looking at base understanding of the flight-fight and the body's physiological mechanisms. Does that make sense? So, jump one step through it. If we wanted to stop it from occurring, what do you logically suggest we do for Myrtle? How could we... Is Myrtle right, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, just make sure. You never quite confirm, and then just saying again and again and again, like, actually, my name's Sarah. How could we stop the bouncing knee? Catherine?
Like try some relaxation techniques before doing the role play.
Perfect. If we could go in, perhaps less physically G'd up, we might be able to stop from occurring. We might also be able to take some of these thoughts and reevaluate the situation. It's not, oh my God, on the first thing, it's, yes, finally, my stage. Yeah, here's my chance to show how fucking amazing I am. Stand back, bitches, and be in awe of my greatness. And then suddenly it goes from a stressful thing to like an exciting thing, or whatever it might be. So maybe some relaxation or some changes in the thoughts. That make sense? So you could then shift from this formulation, the presentation of how you'd fix it. You say to the client, look, if we could change this thing, then that would change. If we could do something here, maybe add some relaxation here, right, after this thought, then maybe this would not be that case. If that's not that case, we don't need to do that anymore, and we can get rid of this one, and off we go. But do we get what we're doing? Yeah. You see what I mean? It makes more sense in the context of the CB assessment, because we're lacking that for the moment. But all you're going to do is take that information, draw it up in terms of how it works here and now, and then fix that one problem. Once we fix Myrtle's knee bouncing, we can teach her the stuff, then she'll become a great psychologist, and she'll have the case of her dreams. Cool? Any questions so far?